Well, the Georgia House election is underway as President Trump is pushing for a Republican win. He's tweeting out Democrat Jon Ossoff would be a disaster in Congress, very weak on crime and illegal immigration, bad for jobs, and wants higher taxes. Say no. Here now is Karl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff under George W. Bush. He's also Fox News contributor. Karl, first of all, I just found out that the guy doesn't even live in the district he's running for. Is that going to be a problem?
Yeah. Well, it has been. He's been very artful about it. He's using his girlfriend as an excuse. He says, well, I grew up in the district, but I live out of the district because I want to live with my girlfriend who's going to medical school, and I want to be supportive of her career. So, but if I get elected, I promise I'll move back into the district. So,
yeah.
No, it's been hurtful to him. Well, but look, this race is far from over tonight. We have 18 candidates, and you have to get 50% of the vote in order to avoid a runoff. There will be a runoff between Ossoff and one other Republican candidate. There are 11 Republican candidates, 6 Democrats, and 1 independent, and 2 of them will go into a June runoff. The question tonight is going to be, where's the Democrat vote total? If he's in the lower 40s, right, he's likely to lose the runoff. If he's in the high 40s, then it's going to be competitive.
And if he's over 50, by the way, he becomes the next congressman. So there is that possibility. Yeah. But I have to ask, with all the differences among the Republican candidates, will they coalesce behind one person to beat him in the run-up?
Well, I've been making some calls into the state today, and that, if you read the rhetoric, there's some pretty tough ads being run among Republicans attacking other Republicans. But I got a generalized sense that there's, first of all, enough time for everybody to come together, and second of all, this is a district that's a 60-40 Republican district. So the idea that they're going to reward Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama with somebody in a runoff is probably enough to overcome a lot of that. But we'll have to see. What really matters is what happens tonight. Where is the Democrat in the vote total? And then what happens in the days ahead? Do the Republicans coalesce? And, you know, this has been an unpredictable couple of years in politics.
It sure has been. But about that, I'm going to try to bring it all together with what's happening in Georgia, what's happening to President Trump and his leadership problems, and we'll talk about that. But also Paul Ryan. His approval ratings have gone way down at 29 cents. This was according to a Pew Research poll. It's a question of leadership, Paul, whether you don't see a lot of leadership behind the Speaker. You don't see a lot of leadership behind the president. He couldn't get the health care bill through. Is that a problem? I do note that over the past couple of weeks, you've seen a lot of coalition around the president with regard to foreign policy. His strike in Syria, his use of the big bomb, his pressure on China to get some action in North Korea. That, surprisingly, is one way in which leadership does seem to be coming to the presidency. Sure. But what else does he have to do to get it all together?
Well, they've got to get things done. You're right. Speaker Paul Ryan's approval rating is 29 in the Pew poll. President Trump's approval rating is 39. President Trump's unfavorables are higher than Speaker Ryan's. And Speaker Ryan's just simply not known by enough people to make a definitive opinion. But they both share the same problem, which is they're in charge, and Republicans have to get things done. They're seen as being in charge of the government, and when you're in charge of the government, you have to govern. And the failure to repeal and replace Obamacare, some of these other missteps, President Trump's initial executive order on immigration, these things are causing people to say, can these guys get things done? Now, having said that, let's not put everything in the dark column.
I knew there'd be a white chart coming out. Go ahead.
Absolutely. In the same Pew poll, here's the Republican advantage on issues. 12 points better than Democrats on terrorism, guns 5, economy 3, trade 3, and taxes 1. The Republicans still
everybody
maintain an
likes
advantage.
what they're doing, but they don't necessarily like the people who are doing it.
Right. And look, here's the change in the party's standing since January. The unfavorables for the Democrats and the Republicans. The Republicans have gone up 8 points on the unfavorable rating since January. The Democrats have gone up 6. So that's Karl, essentially, you know, both parties are in trouble.
We got to run, but I'm going to put out something there, and you can agree or disagree, but I think if they get a tax plan in, if people see that they're paying less money every week in their tax, and you work for a guy who never raised taxes, G.W. Bush, he had other problems according to people, but not in terms of taxes. If they get tax reform through, I think his ratings will be through the roof. Quickly, what do you think?
I think both Republicans generally, Ryan specifically, and Trump specifically, will all benefit as the economy benefits from a tax cut. That's the main thing. People will see it in their paychecks and the prosperity of their firms.
Karl Rove, the man. Thank you, Karl. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, David.